Well, hello everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and I'm back with a new edition of my podcast entitled Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making over $100,000 a year when writing service in the automotive industry in the United States of America, Australia, and Canada. And you know, at this very recording, just over 20% of you are doing just that, making $100,000 a year or more. But that means that nearly 80% of you are not. So what are we going to do about that? Well, I strongly encourage you, as always, to continue to watch and listen to my podcast. Go back and review the old ones that I've done. Go to my website, automotiveservicetraining.com, automotiveservicetraining.com, because when you go there, you'll find more videos, you'll find blogs, articles, techniques, methods, and everything you need to put yourself in that $100,000 a year club. Because if you're writing service today, there's no reason why you can't make that money. And if you're not making that type of money, it's because you're doing something wrong. Now, to today's podcast. I'm going to stick with the theme that we've been on here for a while because it seems to be working very well. I mean, people are just raving about these podcasts, and I thank you all very sincerely for that. But what I've been doing is I've been taking your questions from you, the viewer, that you text me, email me, call in with. You ask these when I'm at conventions and workshops, and I'm answering these questions by using video clips from live performances that I've done. So today's question we have is Jeff, you always talk about how you have to sell yourself. You have to sell yourself. So what's it sound like if you're an advisor when you're selling yourself? Can you show that to us? And the answer is absolutely yeah. I'm going to do that with this next clip. And so this clip is from a convention that I did with the NADA. If you like it, just go to NADA. If you want to see the whole video, that is. Go to NADA.org, NADA.org, and you can get the whole video there. But for today, I'm going to answer your question. What's it look like? What's it sound like? What do I mean when you have to sell yourself? I'm going to answer with this clip. Watch it several times. Enjoy it, and know that I'll be back next week with another podcast. And until then, God bless you all. Take care of yourself and make it a great week. Take care.
$1,000 a month on technology. You can't tell me it's going to get 3 word tracks and it's going to solve it all. Yes, it will. You want to know why? Because your people are talking to your people. They're taking control and they're giving them what they want. Great service. But we're not done. We got to now learn how to sell our stuff. Okay? So, let me set this up. All right? I'm going to give you a list of 5 words, and I'll explain each one briefly and then them as a group. All right, but these are the words you're going to use forever to sell yourself all the time. Recommendation, we're never going to use it as a standalone word. You're always going to preface it with factory or the name of your factory. I use the word factory because it covers everybody, but if I was on a service drive, for example, at Honda, I would say Honda recommends. Okay, Honda trained. But factory is just a generic term. You will get no measurable difference either way you go, factory or the factory name. Mechanic are our guys. We don't have mechanics are our guys. Pep Boys has got mechanics. Firestone's got our guys. We have factory-trained technicians. Factory-trained technicians that were trained by the manufacturer that originally built your vehicle. Our factory-trained technicians will see more vehicles like yours that drive on the same streets you do in a single day than the competition will in the next 30 days combined. And we don't have parts. Napa has parts. We have factory designed and engineered parts. Factory designed and engineered by the people who built your vehicle. We use them because we know how they're going to work, how long they're going to last, and because they're a perfect fit, and they come with a warranty from the manufacturer. We don't have a shop foreman. We've got a factory-trained technical expert. An advisor, I don't care what they call you. Advisor, ASM, rep, consultant, doesn't make any difference. A rose is a rose by any other name, but you're always going to preface it with factory-trained. Now, here's why this is important. There was a time in the auto industry where the longest warranty you could get was 3 years, 36,000 miles. Anybody remember that? Then you're old. That was a long time ago. But during that time, it was noticed that the average customer would leave a service drive at a dealership right around the 3-year mark, 36,000 miles. And everybody assumed it's because the warranty ran out. And I believed it too because it made sense. But here we are today where the average warranty is 5 years, 60,000 miles. But guess when your customers leave your service drive? 3 years. Now, nobody talks about it, because I'm assuming because it no longer fits the story. But just because it doesn't fit the story doesn't mean it's not happening, because it is. So I go to a couple dealerships. I want to know why. And I call several hundred people, the commonality being they went to a dealership for 3 full years, bought everything they were asked to buy when they were asked to buy it, and then they disappeared. The people I got on the phone that had still kept the car, I asked them where they went. Here's what they said. Well, we got a letter from the dealership stating they knew how well we took care of our car and it was in great shape. And since it was in great shape, it had high value, and there was a high demand for vehicles like that on their new used car lot. So they told us if we'd bring it in, they'd give us the highest trade-in value for it, while at the same time trading us into a similar car for about the same amount of money. We sat down, we talked about it, we decided to keep the car, and once we decided to keep the car, we decided, do we really need to keep going back to the dealership where it's more expensive, takes longer to get things done, they lie, mislead, or would it be better to go to Pep Boys, Firestone, Goodyear's, and Independent where they're just as good but cheaper? And by the way, they're not cheaper. I work in the aftermarket. Just came from a workshop yesterday out of the aftermarket. They're on average 7% higher than you. All right, but let me ask you a question about that. Is that what the customer's opinion? Is that true? No. So now we got to ask why they think that. And I'll just cut to the chase and tell you, because we never told them any different. We have to sell ourselves. So what I'm going to recommend you do is what I would do if I was on a service drive is I'm going to take some combination of these words with every single customer that comes in every single day for as long as they do business with me, each and every one of them. I'm going to use some combination of these words 30 times with each customer. Here's an example. What do I mean? Let's take the afternoon phone call. Mr. Customer, this is Jeff. You remember that I'm the factory-trained service advisor that helped you get your vehicle checked in today? Well, I'm calling because I got great news. I just got through talking to your factory-trained technician, and your factory-trained technician told me that he's uncovered what's causing that noise. The factory-trained technician said what the concern was this, so what the factory-trained technician is suggesting we do would be this, and the factory-trained technician wanted me to let you know that when he makes this repair, that he would be using only factory-designed and engineered parts. All of our factory-trained technicians prefer to use factory-designed and engineered parts because we know who built them, we know how they're going to perform, how long they're going to last, and they come with a warranty, and they're a perfect fit. Our factory-trained technician said that if you wanted to move forward on this, it would only be $600, and with your approval, I'll tell your factory-trained technician, you said, go ahead. Go ahead. Now I can see it in your eyes. You're asking yourself, would he really say it that many times? Yes! You want to know why? I'm proud of what I do. I want the world to know and believe that when they work with me as a service advisor, they're working with the absolute best service advisor on the planet for their situation. And the guys working on their car, they're the absolute best. Find somebody better. And parts, how can they get any better than the people who built your car? I want them to believe that. Now the problem we have is people are uncomfortable with that because we've been raised in polite society, and polite society says, don't brag. Well, that's great in polite society, but if you don't tell them you're the best, who's going to? I have to tell people I'm the best. You want to know why? My mom retired. See, you're not buying into this, so let me just point something out here. You fall for this stuff all day long. I can look around the room and see half of you fell for it this morning. Have you ever asked yourself, let's talk about this. You ever ask yourself why Starbucks gets an average of $6.50 for a cup of coffee? Want to know why? Because it's not poured by some guy named Tommy over at Denny's. It's poured by a barista. Ooh, you ever seen that, how that works? I mean, it's magical, isn't it? The way those baristas walk over and they pick up that cardboard cup with just enough force to hold it in their hand firmly but not crush it. And they put it right underneath that little spout and they push that button with their free hand and that liquid comes out and it sparkles. You ever see that? You want to know why? There's a light behind it. It looks like diamonds going in the cup. It will stop exactly 1/8 of an inch from the top of that cup and they'll take their free hand and they'll reach over and grab a plastic lid and put it on tight enough so nothing comes out, but not so tight that you can't get stuff out of it. Get off there and put more stuff in it if you want to, right? And then in front of God and everybody, they'll raise that up at eye level and say, Jeff, your latte is ready. And you will walk over there with your shoulders back and your chest out with a big smile on your face and take it at eye level from that barista and say, and announce to the world that, yes, I, Jeff Cowan, just paid $6.50 for a cup of coffee because it was made by a barista. Ooh, wasn't that special? Or how about Apple? Apple doesn't even have customer service. What do they have? Genius Bar. Now this one really cracks me up. You want to know why? Want to know why? My son worked his way through college working on a Genius Bar at an Apple store. And here's why I find this highly comical. I live with the kid. He ain't a genius. He knows how to program a phone. He read the instructions. But we can't get enough of it, can we? You know, 2 years ago, and here's how good Apple is. Because you can make an argument either way. They got the best phone or they don't, best tablet or they don't, right? But most people believe, because 2 years ago when they put out the iPhone 10, essentially doubling the price of the phone, nobody thought they'd buy it. But in the first 2 weeks in the United States alone, they sold 7 million phones at $1,125. Some people think that's a big story. I think there's a bigger one. 6.5 million people at the purchase bought a plastic cover to put on it that cost $3 to have made down in Kentucky. They paid $35 at the time. 6.5 million of them. Some people think that's the biggest story. I think there's a bigger one. Since they doubled the price of a phone, AppleCare went from $99 up to $199, and at the time of purchase of those 7 million phones, 6.8 million people give Apple $199 times 6.8 million sitting in a bank waiting for somebody to drop their phone. That's genius. And how they did it? How'd they do it? Did it? They're scripted, they have word tracks, and they never stop selling who and what they are. It's the missing piece to your business. So how do you say this? Real easy.